Hey guys, welcome to the Community Difference Plano. We've got a great show for you today. We've got Katie Owens, the Insurance Gal. It is the third Tuesday of the month. We always have her with some great guests on. She's going to share a lot of valuable things as we get into the Medicare enrollment time. That's going to be very valuable for our Plano citizens. Also, a wonderful Plano police officer will be on with us today talking about crime prevention, community safety. We're going to enjoy that time. We're going to be able to ask some questions and really get some valuable feedback of what we do to continue to make Plano one of the safest communities in Texas, but also continue to protect our kids in so many vital ways. So that's going to be huge. Stick around for that, all on the Community Difference coming up right now.
Tune in to watch our communities grow. See how our citizens, local governments, churches, small businesses, schools, and our local sports teams are coming together and partnering to make the difference. Are you ready? Let's go! Welcome to the Community Difference, Plano, Texas, with your host Nathan Smith, and powered by the Difference live stream radio and podcast. So if you love your community and you love supporting the folks and businesses that make your community so special, then we invite you to like, follow, and subscribe to our pages, and then tune into each show to experience the Community Difference.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Community Difference Plano. I am your host, Nathan Smith. We have a great show for you today. Excited to be here with everybody. As I mentioned in the open, we've got Katie Owen, the Insurance Gal, with us here today. Some great guests, some that you'll be familiar with, but also get to talk to Chris Bianez, the first time that we've actually had a conversation with someone from the Plano Police Department. It's going to be a great resource for us moving forward. So I'm excited to give some time talking to him. And as always, we'll start off a little bit of announcements and things going on in the community, making sure we're bringing all the greatest things to you as we continue to really pour into the Plano community and what's going on here, highlighting the stories of significance and things that are important to our citizens. We want to try to bring that value to you each and every week. As always, I'm a big weather guy, so I always like to share the weather with you guys, what's going on. Today, if you've been outside today, it feels like fall, like real fall, like actual, like even northeast fall, like not just what Texas considers fall, but actual fall. So it's pretty amazing. It's going to last for a day, and then it's going to go back into the highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Still nice, not too bad. But then we get to a stretch where I think fall will be here to stay. It does not look like we're going to have a hot Halloween, which we've had a few years. Not so much recently, but I remember I think growing up we had a 92-degree Halloween day one time. That was pretty miserable. So we definitely don't want that. But looks like we're going to have some good fall weather here. Great weather for football. If you get a chance to go out to some of the high school football games, definitely take that up, whether it be Plano or anywhere else in the North Texas region. Now, not a great week, just full transparency, not a great week for our Plano high schools. All three, Plano, Plano East, Plano West, all lost. But that's okay. We still rally around our teams. Plano Senior High is still they're leading in the division. They're still, I think, they're 4-3 on the year, 3-1 in the division. So, you bounce back, but they're definitely doing well in the district, I should say. And it's a really good, having a pretty good year so far. So make sure you go out and support all of our local teams. We have, Clark High School as a freshman, the freshman squad out there. So make sure you're supporting everybody, all the teams, all the local teams, et cetera. And so as we get closer to the November 8th election, a lot of important things, not only on the national stage, we're not really going to that, but you got those the tidbits from other resources, but some very important things in the Plano community, some bond issues that are going to be very important to vote on as far as funding our schools in 5 major areas. We had Rick Sinclair and his partner, business partner Marshall, last 2 weeks ago, rather. We're going to have them on again the first Tuesday, which is the November 1st, a week before the election, to go over and kind of really push the value and the importance of those bonds. Not going to raise taxes at all, which is going to be quite amazing. When you dig into the numbers, the Plano School District is really the most frugal and really well balanced in terms of how they manage the money that they get from our property taxes and from the city in whole. So it's really a service to when you a district that really does a great job of being frugal and respecting the cash flow and the money that they make from property taxes. Obviously, they get stuff from the state as well, which is it's very comforting to see people really taking that seriously and managing that money well, and just the way that they're able to do that. So the bond issues are very important. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I think it's the way that those guys have broken it down and made it real simple for us to digest and really see the value in voting yes on all of those bonds. To me, it's a no-brainer, especially when it's not set to raise our taxes at all, which is pretty amazing. How the heck that's possible? They explain it really well. So we're gonna have them on again one more time, the 1st of November before the November 8th election, which, there's everything from national to local to the gubernatorial race, of course, all, local house or state house and Senate, national house and Senate. So all kinds of things that we won't go over those details here, but specifically for Plano, some very important issues that we want to make sure that we're covering. So hope everybody's had a great week. If you don't have it on your calendars, make sure that you put a block there to watch the Real Talk with Brian Podesta. It's our sports show on The Difference on Thursday at noon. We've had some great guests, high school coaches, not only from the North Texas area, but from around the country, as far as some of the top programs out in California. We talked last time about how I don't like personally being second fiddle to California in terms of high school football. So Texas has always been number one in my mind. So hopefully we can continue that. But it's going to be something that's going to have to take place over a little bit of time. They've caught up with us. That's okay, because we have a much better economy than them. So we'll just kind of stick the knife in right there. But that's for another show, I guess. But make sure you check out Real Talk with Brian Podesta. Lyndon also hosts that, or co-hosts that along with him. Great show, great guest. I get to pop on there every once in a while, talk about the Cowboys, who did lose this past week, but that's okay. I think everybody still feels pretty good about that. Looks like Dak's coming back this week, so that's an exciting thing if you're a Cowboy fan. If you're not, then you probably couldn't care less, so that's totally fine. But so yeah, it's a great time of year, high school football, just the fall weather, the pumpkin spice latte, right? If you're a big Halloween person, you're probably pretty excited. To me, Halloween is like something you got to get through until you get to the actual fun holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. My wife's not a big Halloween person. I like it just for the candy, which I don't need, and it's cute when you have young kids and they actually get to dress up as cute things. When when they want to dress up as goblins and ghosts and dead people one day when they're older, I don't know if I'll be excited about that. But either way, depending, no matter your view on Halloween, it's to me it's kind of like that holiday you got to get through, and then obviously the real good holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, is my absolute favorite time of the year. So hope you guys are being able to spend it with family and just having a good time so far as we move into the fall, and just a lot of good things happening in the community, a lot of festivals. The International Festival was this past Saturday. Huge event. I think it's the 18th annual. If you guys did not get a chance to go out there, check out some of the pictures, check out some of the videos, make a plan to go out there next year at least. It's just, I think, gosh, I can't remember how many, 100 countries represented, Plano's diverse cultural community, all different types of food, music, etc. The symphony played at night, different types of music from around the world. And it was a really cool event. So make sure that you at least check out the recap if there's some stuff available on their website. I believe it's PlanoInternationalFestival.org, and just get an idea of some of the stuff that is going on in the community. So we're going to hear from someone that's really got their pulse on the community, Officer Chris here later in the show. But also want to start out talking with our dear friend, the insurance gal, Katie Owen. Bring her on just a second. Katie is just really passionate about the senior community, obviously in the Medicare field where so many people are getting taken advantage of. And it's a very important time of the year, whether you're in the Medicare age or just in health insurance in general, right? People are open enrollment time. So you probably had your health insurance person reach out to you, looking at a different plan, or somebody's reached out to you for something. Maybe you don't have any coverage. If you don't have any coverage, you probably got inundated by a bunch of people. But Katie's not somebody to inundate you. Katie wants to get to know you, build a relationship with you, and help you navigate, either you or your family, what can be a very tricky industry in terms of Medicare, the supplement plans, etc. So we're going to bring Katie on and just say good afternoon to you, Miss Katie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Nathan. I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. It's always good to have you here on the third Tuesday of the month. it is a busy time of year for you, as it is for anybody in the health insurance industry, but specifically in open enrollment for Medicare. Just give us a quick recap. I know this is you've been co-hosting now, I think 4 months, I believe, but just for maybe some new listeners, what got you into this industry, and why are you so passionate about what you do?
Right. So let me tell you about Medicare in a minute, but let me start with my favorite Halloween story since you were talking about Halloween.
Oh, I'd love to hear this. Okay, good.
So my mom and I, whenever she would come and visit around Halloween, we would love to open the door and guess at what the children's costumes were. And so before we would give them candy, we would guess each costume. And I'll never forget one year, this sweet little girl came to the door with wings. She's wearing wings. And my mom said, are you a fairy? And the little girl said, no. And my mom said, are you a butterfly? And she said, no. And then my mom said, are you a moth? The little girl just looked up at us like, I honestly don't remember what she was, but oh my gosh, we died laughing, like as if any child would dress up to be a moth.
I think it was a moth. I feel like too, depending on how old anyone is listening, the younger you were, the less options you had for Halloween costumes. So like you had a much better shot of getting it right. So it was like 30 different things you could be. People weren't really like, and I could be wrong, but I don't ever recall going as characters on shows growing up. Like that's a very popular thing now. Like it was more superheroes and just generic type, mythical creatures or whatever. Now you can just be like anybody, anybody from any show, and sometimes it makes it harder. Now I do like when people will they'll do like a costume that's kind of a word play, and you got to figure out what they are. I think that's kind of creative.
Yes.
But it's getting out of hand now. It's just like so many. You wouldn't probably fare well at that game today.
Right. Yeah, not as much. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Well, tell us about. So, how did you get into the industry? And just real quick, because I want to spend some time talking about kind of the importance of the next few months before we bring in your guest this afternoon.
Absolutely. So I've been helping people with insurance since 2003. And I primarily did supplemental insurance for many, many years in a business-to-business environment. And about 3.5 years ago, I was just looking to make a change, and I found Medicare. And I had my older clients tell me that I explained things really well, that they liked working with me, they felt comfortable with me, and so I thought, well, why don't I tackle something new? It's a new challenge. And so I started the world of Medicare 3.5 years ago. And I'm just a few, let's see. No, I've surpassed 200 clients. I think I'm around 225 Medicare clients in the last few years, and super, super happy to help them. And, like you mentioned earlier, unfortunately, this group of people does get taken advantage of. And I like being that trusted, resource that people can come to and know they're going to get a straight answer from me, and know that I'm not just in it for the sale, but I'm in it for a long-term relationship. And so this is the time of the year where I'm reaching out to my clients and encouraging them to schedule time on my calendar so that we can talk about their plans. The annual enrollment period is October 15th through December 7th. And, some of my clients will say, oh, I'm happy with my coverage. And while I'm super happy that they're happy with their coverage, Medicare and these carriers make a lot of changes from year to year. So if you don't review your coverage each year, you could have a great plan this year, but then be locked into a plan that changes and isn't as good for you next year. So in fact, just this morning, I was talking to a couple who they were on one plan that's $22.70 per month for a drug plan, and their plan's going to go up to over $33. I ran their drugs, and there's a better plan for $11.90 starting in January. And it's not just the cost of the plan, but it's also the cost to fill their prescriptions. Well, that new plan even has lower cost. So, they were excited. The wife, she changed her plan because this better plan came along. And the husband, his plan, actually, the best plan that came up for him next year is the plan he's on now. So he didn't have to make a change. And that's what I find. About 50% of my clients, they need to make a change for the next year.
Okay. So are you sending, a lot of this is not only new people, but just kind of revisiting where somebody is at within, even if they may already be a client, but there could just be some things that they need to know, or also if it's somebody looking to switch, or someone coming on brand new, or just becoming 60, 64 and a half, or whatever the age is, I believe. So it's kind of all the above, basically.
Yeah, I'm definitely helping people who are aging into Medicare right now. When you see, you mentioned earlier, you're just blasted by all these Medicare commercials this time of the year. It definitely becomes top of mind, even for people who are transitioning in. So I'm very excited to be hearing from a lot of people, even clients I've had for the last 19 years. They're reaching out to me saying, okay, I'm going to be turning 65 soon. You helped me with insurance before. I want you to help me again. So I'm definitely still helping those folks. And then, also folks on Medicare Advantage plans. There's some brand new Medicare Advantage plans coming on the market for next year that are significantly different and better with benefits. So for those clients who are on a Medicare Advantage plan, they definitely want to talk to me about, what they might want to consider for next year. And I was honored to have a few people actually send me some leads even this morning for people who are already on Medicare. But I'm not the one who helped them get on Medicare, but they haven't had anybody review their coverage in a few years. And so they reached out to me, and I'm going to be reviewing their coverage for them just to be sure they're on the best coverage.
Well, that's cool. So we're going to take a quick break here, Katie. When we come back, we'll introduce Sherri McFadden, your guest. We'll talk a little bit about some senior topics. Obviously, that's your forte, but some senior travel ideas as we dive into some opportunities for our Plano senior community. We'll be right back on the Plano Community Difference.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses.
Are you in the market for a new or used car or truck? Then contact Derek Wallets at Sam Pack's 5-Star Ford in Carrollton, Texas today. With Derek's 20-plus years of experience in automobile sales consulting and Sam Pack's 42 years of exceptional service in the DFW community, you will quickly understand what it means to experience the Sam Pack difference. So give Derek and Sam Pack 5-Star Ford a call today at 972-299-0028 or email him at dwallets@sampack.com.
WeatherTech General Contracting. We make your home renovation dreams a reality.
Metroplex Delivery is DFW's premier restaurant delivery service. Metroplex Delivery brings premium restaurant food right to your door. Metroplex Delivery offers uncompromising white glove treatment. Launching in McKinney and Allen. Give Metroplex Delivery a call at 469-505-0844 or online at www.metroplex.delivery. And by
Alan Lester, branch manager and team lead for the One Group, a branch of Town Square Mortgage. With over 22 years in the mortgage lending industry, Allen and Town Square Mortgage have many loan program options available from conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, and many investor and self-employed programs. So if you're looking for the best in the business, give Alan a call at 214-681-0234.
If you would like to know how you and your business can sponsor this show or others like it, please contact us at info@thedifferenceradio.com. And now back to the show.
All righty, guys, welcome back to the Community Difference Plano. As right before the break, we were talking with Katie Owen, the insurance gal. We're going to bring her right back in here in just a moment and just continue kind of where we left off, I should say. Katie, talk to us a minute about the senior community, and obviously you understand your passion, what you do in Medicare, but you really just have a passion for that age range as well. And so I think your guest today, if you want to introduce her, speaks to that in terms of, not just, you want to provide quality and Medicare resources to make sure you have the right plan for them that can actually be affordable, but actually do what they think it's supposed to do, but also just, help enrich their lives in other ways in that time frame. or that time period in life, which we all hope is enjoyable if we make it there, hopefully. So I'm gonna let you introduce Sherri, and then we'll kind of dive into that topic today.
Thanks, Nathan. So not only do I enjoy obviously helping my clients find great insurance policies, but I really want to be a resource to them. So I connect with a lot of people in our community in a lot of different areas so that when clients have needs, I've got somebody trusted that I can send to them. And Sherri McFadden is absolutely just a wonderful person, not only inside, but outside. And we were talking recently and she said, when seniors travel, there are just things that they need to consider. And seniors just have different, needs and different wants when they travel. And so I thought, oh goodness, I have to have Sherri on this show so she can talk to our audience about travel and what they should consider and all those great things. So Sherri, I want to welcome you to the show. Thanks for being on here today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Definitely. So tell our audience just a little bit, start out with how you got into the travel industry and maybe what sets you apart from most travel agents.
Yeah, sure. So I started working officially in travel in this past year, but I've been passionate about travel for probably the last 10 to 15 years because I learned for myself that when I had my kids and they were younger, that I didn't want to keep buying them lots of stuff, that I wanted to build memories with them. And so I decided that travel was what I wanted to do with my family. And now I've made it a career.
I love that. And I mean, you, Nathan, and I are all part of a networking group together. And it seems like you are helping every single person in that group with a trip. I think a big misnomer is that when you work with a travel agent, things are more expensive. So tell us about that myth.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a myth. Generally, I thought it myself for a long time. And then I realized that we get paid by the vendors, not by the person that we are creating the trip for. There are some rare exceptions to that. Like if you're planning a wedding, there could be an extra fee. But generally, we are paid by the vendors. And so what we're doing is we are customizing your trip to find the perfect place for you to go to. We visited a lot of the places that I'm going to recommend, or I know somebody who's been there. So I have boots on the ground. I know these great places to send you. And then I get reimbursed from any of the hotels or some of the tours or things like that. But you would pay the exact same amount if you booked it on your own. We're just helping you find the best fit for you.
And you save people hours of time, right?
Tons of time. And so we talked in our meeting the other day about leverage. And so we all are very busy. Even if you're retired, you're busy, you're doing things. And so trips generally will take 5 to 6 to up to 10 hours to plan and to do research and to look. Let me do that for you, and then I can present it to you. A free proposal is what I do, and then you can choose what you like and what you don't like off that proposal, and we can create a customized trip for you that could be the trip of your dreams.
Let me jump ask a question here, Sherri. When you're talking about travel for certain demographics, like we're looking at senior travel, which is a pretty wide age range, honestly. What are some things to consider? Are there obviously certain people have limitations depending on their health or their mobility, et cetera, but
right.
Do you try to find those things out first, or do you just kind of have different packages or just some go-to places you like to send people or people like to go? I mean, talk to us about that process.
Yeah. So anytime I have a new client that comes to me and says, hey, I want to do a trip, I immediately schedule a one-on-one conversation phone call. I've even met in person with people on their trips, and we have a good discussion. And I ask lots of questions. I want to find out, where do they want to go? How long do they want to go? What's their budget? But also, do you have any physical limitations? How many people do you want to go with you? So I am finding out all the information so I can gather that and then customize their trip. I can ask them, what are you looking to do on your trip? What can you do? What can you not do? So if there's physical limitations, there's definitely things that I'm going to recommend over. I'm not going to recommend a big hiking trip. So we're doing, a train tour, or, you can go to Switzerland and you can ride the trains all through. So you think Switzerland is hiking, but you can do Switzerland on a train, and we can work around any physical limitations you may have there.
So probably no bungee jumping, typically speaking.
Hey, if you want to do it, that's not on my bucket list. Yeah.
Oh man.
So Sherri, what types of trips are popular for seniors right now?
I would say definitely the multi-generational trips are really, really popular. So we have the grandparents with the mom and dad, and then the children. I think COVID really pushed us more into that because we were separated. And so I have a lot of multi-generational trips. People are looking at that. We have some great all-inclusives that we can recommend in the Caribbean that are not too far away, that have things for all ages. You've got a quiet adult pool if you want that, if you don't want to be right by the kids, but everybody can stay at the same resort. So we have really good trips like that. That's super popular. There's also one we call skip generation, where you have the grandparents just taking the grandchildren and taking them on, whatever, to Disney or, to the national parks. And I can tell you, my grandparents did a skip gen trip with me, and it was one of my most memorable summers ever. They took me with them for 2 weeks, and we drove all the way up through Colorado and Pikes Peak. And I remember that to this day. So that's a really cool trip, and that's happening right now. There's also, we have the train, the Amtrak, the Orient Express, the original one, is coming back next year in 2023. So that's a cool trip. If you ever
Where is that?
Yeah. It's over. They actually have several, but the original one that has the 17 original cars, they've redone them, and they're going to be coming back up next year. So that's pretty cool. Wow. And so we also have, and I know there's some people, as they get a little older, they don't feel as comfortable maybe traveling, maybe overseas or doing something big like that. But we have lots of tours that we can connect them with, depending on what they want to do, where they want to go, what they want to see. We have tour groups as small as 6 people all the way up to 28. Of course, that depends on your budget, what your needs are, what your physical abilities are, and where you want to go. And then, so those are some of the few popular trips right now.
That sounds amazing. So when you look at kind of some deals that are going on right now, what are you recommending to your clients? So I would say right this minute, as there's not a whole lot of great deals going on with flights. So if you've been following that, but November, December, the prices, in fact, we just got a notice that prices are going to start creeping up. So if you're planning on traveling in November and December, I would look at booking something right away. I haven't seen the big jump in the flights, but they're telling us it's coming. So I think a deal would be book fast right now. Also, we another big thing that a lot of seniors love to do are cruises. I'm actually booking one today for a senior couple. Everything's done for you. You have great food, entertainment, everything that you could want. Our agency actually has a river cruise right now that we have discounted 15%. So if anybody's available, it's November 28th through December 2nd this year. So in about 5 weeks, but we have discounted cabins. We just have a few left, and it's the European river cruise. And you get to see the Christmas markets. You have local wine that'll be on board. It's all included. They have local entertainment that comes on to the cruise every evening to perform. They have bicycles that you can take and ride through the little markets if you want. So that is a deal that we do have going on right now. And what's the best way? Oh, sorry, Nate.
No, go ahead.
What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, Sherri?
So I think my telephone number is probably right there on the bottom. So you can just call me, text me there, or you can find me on Instagram at Travel with Sherri, on Facebook as well.
Are there some, when you go to Denny's and stuff, there's always discounts and stuff for seniors. Are there some of that in the travel industry as well?
Absolutely. So they're at all the hotels, most of them almost always offer discounts for seniors. Also, Southwest is a one of the airlines that actually offers a pretty good discount for 65 and up. So you can find that a few of the airlines do it, but I know Southwest for sure has a really good one that you can do. So yeah, so definitely, and even on tours, there's tours with senior discount. I know the national parks have discounts as well. So maybe not as yummy as Denny, but you can probably save more money than at Denny.
Thank you so much, Sherri.
Well, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Sherri. Guys, we're going to hit our second break. When we get back, we're going to talk with Officer Chris Bianez at the Plano Police Department. It's going to be really good as far as some of the crime prevention, some of the awesome programs that are going on. You're definitely going to want to stick around. We'll be right back on the Community Difference.
Tired of that north of the border seasoning? Thinking there's got to be more than just salt and pepper to flavor your steak? Your brother-in-law yapping that he's the grill master? Here's your solution: Goodness Steak Seasoning. It's a blend of 9 unique herbs and spices that'll have your mouth saying, goodness. What was once just for steak night for the family is now being enjoyed by thousands of families across the USA. Grab a bottle or two today at Ham's Meat Market off the Square in McKinney, Profound Foods in Fairview, and at bringthetasty.com.
Welcome back to Community Difference. I am your host, Nathan Smith. Thank you again to Katie, the Insurance Gal, Katie Owen, and our good friend Sherri McFadden. Hope you got some valuable information on that, especially for our senior community in Plano, but also anywhere beyond the listening sphere of Plano, Texas. I'm excited because what we have up next is a good, hopefully a new friend of the show, Officer Chris Bianez. We're going to bring him on in just a moment. Now I got the pleasure of meeting Chris. I went out to the Balloon Festival in Plano, and first of all, that was my first time going to the Balloon Festival, which is pretty awesome. Lots of booths, lots of food, lots of entertainment. They had a parachuter. They had tons of balloons, great music, great atmosphere. It was a little toasty, but it wasn't Texas, so what do you expect? That's part of the deal. But I think over the weekend they averaged like 90,000 people, something like that. It's pretty crazy. But I got a chance to talk with Officer Chris, and I'm going to take a moment to bring him on right now with us and see if he's available here. Officer Chris Bianez, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great. I hope you can hear me over all those people playing at the beach.
I can. You look like you just got booked somewhere with Sherri.
All right, I'm just playing. I thought with all that travel talk, I'd like to go someplace nice, but I'm actually here in the cubicle.
Okay, well that's a little disappointing. So we were hoping you were on a beach somewhere. That's awesome. Yes. Well, awesome. How are you doing today, Chris?
Hey, doing great. It's an honor to be here today and to speak with you.
Well, we're glad to have you. We've been working for a while to have somebody on with the Plano Police Department and just get an idea. First of all, to thank you guys for your service and being a huge integral part of the safety of what a good city it is, just from protecting our schools to our cities to just a lot of the volunteer stuff that you guys do as well. And so getting the chance to meet you at the Balloon Festival and kind of see what you did and what your role was really exciting. Just kind of my mind was going like, this is some stuff I think would be valuable to share with people. So before we dive into that, what you're doing now, talk to us about how long have you lived in Plano? Have you been kind of walk us through your journey as a police officer? Did you start out in Plano, or where did you get your start as a police officer?
Yeah, I'll jump into that. But you mentioned being excited to see us at the Balloon Festival. But man, I don't think he's as excited as these young men I saw right here.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. That is very funny.
Oh, so we were having a blast at the Balloon Festival. As far as the questions you asked, I'm originally from Glendale, California, came to Texas for the affordable real estate. And that sure worked out nice. I had made a call actually, and I said, hey, where's the best community to live? And someone said Plano, Texas. I asked the same thing about schools and the police department, and I heard Plano, Plano, Plano. And that brought me here. I tested and I got in 1997. So I've been with the Plano Police Department for 25 years. And for the most recent 15 years, I have the best job in the police department. I work in the crime prevention unit. So my full-time job is safety education, helping people protect their bodies, their family, their property, and their identity. So it's great to have this opportunity to help people stay safe.
So before we dive into that, I say just like that's, but were you on the beat, or like what as a patrol officer before?
Yes.
Were you,
Yes, when you first come on, everyone goes to patrol. Now, there's one thing that I had a passion for, and that was helping young people avoid the negative, destructive consequences of drugs. So 2 years after I started, there was 2 openings in the DARE unit, which was drug abuse resistance education. So I went into that unit, and if it weren't for 9/11 and the city of Plano having a shortfall of their budget, I would have stayed there. But 3 years after being in that unit, we had that money shortfall. And so that unit was disbanded. I went back to patrol, and then I came in here into the crime prevention unit about 15 years ago.
well, speaking of budgets, I talked about earlier. I don't think you were able to be on yet, but just Plano on the whole, especially Plano ISD, but also the city of Plano, really managed the city. The school district is managed very well. It seems that the police department overall is managed pretty well. But you see a lot of department shortfalls across the country. Some of it are just getting fed up with the political climate, and not to dive too deep into that. But where are you guys as far as manpower, over, under, right about where you need to be, and how have you been able to navigate some of those tumultuous things that are happening in mainly other states, but some cities in Texas as well?
Yes, Plano is being affected, but not like other cities. So we do have a little bit of shortfall, but not nearly like other cities that have been impacted greatly. And the way we're managing it is just having overtime opportunities for other officers to come in, fill in the gaps. Officers are making sacrifices. They're not able to take vacation like they could if we were fully staffed. So people are just making good, and we're trying to get new people hired. So we're like every agency out there offering job opportunities and trying to get good people in here to fill those open vacancies.
And if you don't know an exact number, that's totally fine. How many officers are there in the city of Plano?
I think there's about 400 sworn officers, but that includes all the officers that are in specialized units as well. So we have the typical specialized units like criminal investigation division. We have a juvenile unit. We have a burglary unit. We have people who are assigned to schools. We have 4 officers assigned to crime prevention, which is I'm in. So we have we have K9 officers. So, we have.
How many? What do you think you need? Like 450 or 475? Like,
I think we're down something like, I think they said like maybe 12 positions or something.
Oh,
it's not.
Okay.
It's not a huge amount.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's very
Mhm.
good. So, say 15 years ago, you got into crime prevention unit. If you guys went to the balloon festival, you saw that their whole table of different programs and things from adults to kids. Probably could spend 2 hours talking about all those programs, but let's start with just adults in general. What are some of the things? Because you were talking about, and I didn't get the other officer's name that I talked to before you, but some of the things that you guys, as a police department, will come out and do and assess. Whether people's homes or their perimeter, or like their property, just to help them, how resistant are they to break-ins and things like that. You guys have all kinds of programs like that you're just due. If they'll just call and ask you, talk about some of those for a moment, if you don't mind.
All right. On the split screen is probably one of what I call this a behind the badge experience. It's called the Citizens Police Academy. And that is a 12-week program that is on Thursday nights from 7 to 10. And people, they come, we usually get about 40 to 50 people enrolled in that at a time. And it sells out. It's free. So it always books and sells out very quickly. But what you're going to do is you're going to have all the different units, the command staff will come in, the chief will come in and address them, talk out about our performance measures, about the goals we have as a police department, staffing issues, all those types of things. And then they have the K9 officers will come out, bring their dogs, and they get to watch the dogs, how they work and learn about that. And then they have one of the fun things for them is drive day. That's my favorite day. They get in the police car and race it around the track for time. They get 3 timed runs. The third one is lights and sirens. They have a shoot, don't shoot night. That's where they're handing a pistol with blanks, and they're dispatched to 7 different scenarios. And they, like you've been dispatched to a call. The officer hit his emergency button, go. And they're like, what do I do? You got to turn the corner and make a decision. And they have to turn the corner and make a split-second decision whether to shoot or don't shoot. And after that, it's an eye-opener. We will have the class members say, okay, I used to think before this class, why didn't the officer just shoot the gun out of the person's hand or something like that? And then when they realize just how fast and how split-second decisions these are that officers are put into, it really opens their eyes. And so that's a really great program. We probably get our best supporters after they've gone through that and really had that behind the badge experience. You mentioned the home security assessment. We offer a service where we go to a residence of Plano. They can call up and an officer will go and walk their property, spend about anywhere 30 to 90 minutes with them and show them how to make that house more burglar resistant. Now, we tell them you can't make it burglar proof because whatever someone can build, they can break through. But there's 3 things that's helpful that we can do. We can make it more difficult. We can make it more time consuming. We can make it noisier. And we show them why their houses are so vulnerable. Most people don't realize that with one kick and 1 second, someone can break in their house because the strike plate screws are like a 1/2 inch long. So we want to replace those with like 4-inch screws. And now that's the first step. They'll have 9 4-inch screws into 2x4 studs, and it won't be defeated with just a kick. But there's other things we go through as well, because what if someone knows how to pick a lock? We got to be able to make it more pick proof or a spreading technique. So we take the time and teach them how to do that. We also do these types of things at businesses. We can go out to a business and do a business security assessment, make suggestions on cameras and different things that they could do to plan for what happens if the unthinkable happens. What if there's an active shooter event? Do they have a safe room they can go to? What are the protocols? And we actually will go out and teach and act what's called CRAZE, Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. And that's a good plug. We're going to have one coming up on the 24th of October, I believe. But look at our social media, and we're going to do one that's going to be open to the public at the Plano Center. And that would be a really good program to join in on.
What's the date on that?
I'm pretty sure it's the 24th of October. Let me see if I can pull it up. I wish I had a flyer or someplace I could send you to get that information. Hold on one sec. Mr. Sheldon, 25th of October for your craze? 6:30 to 8:30 on Tuesday, October 25th. And it will be at the Plano Center.
8:30 in the morning or p.m.?
No, p.m. Yeah, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Plano Center.
That sounds pretty cool. I might actually want to.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. We're doing that in collaboration with the 911 communications. The fire department will be doing a segment on Stop the Bleed. And I can't tell you, the police department started a policy where they issued every officer a tourniquet. And that tourniquet not only saved an officer's life, but several, I think, 6 civilians. And so learning some of those life-saving things, what to do if you somehow get cut, and also planning ahead and having those tourniquets handy can really be lifesavers.
So can you give me the acronym again for CRAZE, just for our audience?
It's Citizen Response to Active Shooter Events. Okay.
Very cool. Now, do you guys do any type of training? Y'all do anything with the Plano CERT group at all?
I'm not sure if we've collaborated with them on anything. It's not ringing a bell right now. There could be. There's so many different parts. We have a Homeland Security unit, and they might do some things with them.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been looking into getting into the CERT here. I used to be as part of Dallas when I was more in that area. Of course, now that was before I got married and I have 2 kids. So
yeah,
a lot going on, a business, a show, so a lot of things happening. So, but what we're going to do, I'd like to talk about a couple more of those programs and some things that will be what you feel are the most beneficial to our listeners. We're going to hit one more break here in just a moment. Before we do that, a couple of things that I'd like to just kind of tease on the other side of that. At the balloon festival, there was some opportunity to like a fingerprint kit for your kids in case something happened. I want to touch on that, why that's important, and whatever you feel is advantageous to share with our listeners as we end up the last 15 minutes. So guys, stick around. We'll be back in the Community Difference Plano in about 2 minutes.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses.
Real property management focus, an unmatched level of service to property owners, investors, and tenants throughout the DFW Metroplex.
Katie Owen, the Insurance Gal, helps overwhelmed Medicare-eligible people successfully navigate the enrollment process. When turning 65, retiring, and signing up for Medicare for the first time, it can be confusing. So it's important to get guidance from someone you can trust. Katie helps her clients navigate the enrollment process in a way that eliminates the feeling of being overwhelmed and unsure and leaves her clients feeling relieved and confident. If you have questions about the Medicare process and want advice from someone you can trust, reach out to Katie at 972-943-3943 or at her website, www.insgal.com.
When you need a trusted roofing company on your side to help you out with storm damage repair for your roof, call Cook DFW Roofing. Serving Anna, Melissa, Princeton, Prosper, Van Alstyne, and all of the DFW area.
Red Branch Realty and owner realtor Ashley Gentry are true champions at every level. As a top producer, Ashley Gentry and Red Branch Realty truly embody their mission of being your supporter and partner in your personal real estate journey. So if finding the best representation possible in achieving the American dream of homeownership is important to you, give Ashley a call at 972-342-1869.
For more information about our sponsors and their services, or if you would like information on how you and your business can partner with or sponsor this show, or others like it, just check the show description or comments for the relevant links and contact information. And now back to the show.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We are in the final quarter, the final 15 minutes of the show today. We're talking with Officer Chris Bianez at the Plano Police Department, who has a passion for crime prevention, community safety. We were talking about some of the programs that are available to our citizens, specifically kids. We'll get more into that in just a moment that are going to be helpful. I'll bring Chris back in. Chris, right before the break, we were talking about the thing that like we picked up on for our kids. Talk about what that, it's a pretty simple process to do, but why that's important. Where do those fingerprints go? How would they be used, et cetera?
Okay, so a fingerprint card for children, if you do that, it's something you want to do is get some fingerprints and then hang on to those in the event that the worst happens and your child goes missing, and we want to be able to identify the child. So this is sort of like planning ahead. There's different places where we used to do that, but we do it still as part of we have a program called Vacation Safety School, which is I mentioned the Citizens Police Academy earlier. This is the child version from 6 to 9. And part of that, they learn about fingerprints, and we do their fingerprint card for them and tell the parents, hang on to that. So that's something you want to hang on to just in case you ever need it. Hopefully we never do need it, but it's one of those things to be prepared.
Well, if you look at the statistics, the crime statistics, obviously when you have a city of 400,000 people, you're never going to be able to eliminate all crime, obviously. No. I mean, there's even murder, unfortunately. But when you look at the statistics with, compared to Dallas or other similar size cities, and I know a lot of it is that you guys, typically speaking, have enough officers. You're pretty close to that mark that you need to be at. That's a huge part of it. But is there anything specifically that you feel like you guys do different than maybe other departments, or just different philosophies when it comes to crime prevention that has made Plano sustainable, pretty safe city to live in?
Well, you use that key word, partnership, and the Plano Police Department mission statement. I don't think there's an officer you can ask that doesn't know that mission statement. So we're really taught that. And the mission statement is to provide outstanding police services. That's us. In partnership with the community. That's you. To maintain a safe environment, that's the goal. That contributes to the quality of life, and that's the benefit. So I'd say the best thing, or the real difference for Plano, is this wonderful partnership that we have with our community. And we work hard to strive to keep that partnership alive and to provide benefits. Like I said, we've got that vacation safety school, ages 6 to 9, week-long summer camp. We got the Citizens Police Academy. We're doing home security assessments, business security assessments. And then we have a program called Neighborhood Watch. And the Neighborhood Watch has got 2 basic principles. The first one is to get to know your neighbors. And the second one is to report suspicious activity. So we tell people to immediately call 911 to report any suspicious person, vehicle, or circumstance. And sometimes people will be surprised, like, really? I mean, I don't have to wait to an actual crime's committed. No. If you ever feel unsafe, or if you ever see like someone pulling a door handle, looking in the car, going to the next car and pulling the door handle, hey, in law enforcement, we call that a clue. You should be picking up that phone and calling 911. They're like, really? Where I was
really
from,
confused, one or the other.
Yeah, where I came from, you couldn't do that. And then I extend my hand and say, welcome to Plano, because we do want that. We know that the best call we're going to get is from the citizen, because they're the eyes and ears in the community. So Neighborhood Crime Watch is a great program. Another thing is, we talked about that vacation safety school, but they learn about poison control. They get to go to the fire station, get dressed up in bunker gear, get a picture, send that home to the parents. They get a picture in the police car. They have a bike rodeo. They get to see the search and rescue dogs. So it's a wonderful, wonderful program. And then we got another great program called Take Me Home. Sometimes we have people.
Sorry, what's the name of the program you just?
The Vacation Safety School. That's the summer camp for children from ages 6 to 9. It's usually held in the summer. There's 4 weeks we typically do. It's a Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon camp. And we usually open registration on April the 15th. And we will push out the announcement via our social media, Nextdoor and Facebook. But boy, you got to sign up in person. You can't do it online like the Citizens Police Academy. And you better get there quick, because it sells out. All 100, and we have 30 per class, per class, and all 4 weeks sell out. So 1 week, but we offer it 4 different times. So that's a great one. April 15th is usually when that opens registration. The Take Me Home program. This is a program where you have someone who may not be able to. I must say, it went somewhere else. Where'd it go? Take Me Home back over here. Are you scrolling that thing?
Yeah, I was showing the website.
Oh, you're sharing the screen. Okay. I actually have that. Let me pop over. Yeah, I was going to actually show you on.
That'd be great.
So that was one of the slides I was going to show you. Let me go get some little, there we go. And let me show you. This is planopolice.org. And then as you scroll down, you're going to look for this right here. It says Citizens Programs. When you click on that link, Citizens Programs, in alphabetical order most of the time, there's the list. And so you'll see right here that the Take Me Home program, the one we're just starting to talk about. And here's a description. Take Me Home is a program developed by the Pensacola, Florida Police Department to better assist individuals with disabilities who may need extra help communicating in an emergency situation. So this is a situation where someone might not be able to communicate where they live, and we keep a database. People can register, either they're elderly with dementia, or a child maybe that's got Asperger's and is not very communicative, and you can put them into the database, and then police officers can actually search for someone right in the database in their MDCs in the squad car. So this is a great thing to do. We're going to have this where this can actually be on an online registration coming up pretty soon. And then you can send in a photograph. But that's a great program. I'm going to back up here and see what else I might. Oh, community camera program. This is a program where, a lot of crimes. You remember that terrible, senseless murder we had of Sarmista Sen on August 1st, 2020. She was on the jogging trail, and the Ring doorbell camera from a home that was in that vicinity was how that suspect was apprehended. And so we can't say enough about the value of cameras, not only for catching evidence, it's also a good deterrent. You see people walk up, look at the camera and say, oh, forget it. Look, they got a camera, and they walk away. So we'd like residents, if they've got cameras, to fill out this form and let us know where their cameras are. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't give us the ability to live stream their cameras. We don't have any access to their camera feed, but it tells us that here where we live, and here's our cameras, and these are where they're at front yard, backyard. They click on where those cameras are showing. And then if we have a crime in the area, we can quickly look at this database and say who might have some good footage that could help us with this investigation. So what a great thing that is. We got people participating, and we appreciate that help.
What about the Youth Police Academy? I saw that.
Oh yeah, so we've got that for the young people. And boy, I tell you what, if you've got a youngster that's really interested in law enforcement, couple of programs. One is the Youth Police Academy, and that is, I think it's like, is it 8th grade? Did you happen to scan that? I think it's like 8th grade until like 12th graders, and it is something like I think it's a 10-week program. And they go through the similar things that the Citizens Police Academy goes through, and then they don't get to drive the police car though yet, Nathan. And by the way, Nathan, you need to get in this Citizens Police Academy. I'd love to see how fast you can drive that squad car around the track. But the Youth Police Academy, yeah. And I don't know why that's not it's pulling up for me. Maybe yours is going to work better. And then the other one, if you have someone who's very serious about wanting to explore the opportunity of being an officer, the Law Enforcement Explorer Post. This is for young men and young women. It's part of the Boy Scout Learning for Life program, and it is ages 14 to 20, and they come on Monday nights from like 6 to 9, and they learn all the different facets of being a police officer, how to do investigations, how to do arrest, search, and seizures, all these different things, and then they compete against other agencies. So it's just an outstanding program. But if you go to that planopolice.org and then go to citizens programs, you can go back and look at these lists.
Okay. And I just had, I saw those pamphlets out there at the Balloon Festival. It's like, man, I don't think people realize how much you guys really do as far as just really trying to equip people to protect themselves. You guys are really the last line of defense, and hopefully, and people can do a lot of deterring and a lot of just common sense stuff themselves. But I love that you guys really I like your mission statement. I think it's, the serve and protect has been kind of a generic police mission statement, which is obviously very important, but it sounds like Plano really takes it a step further and really unpacks what that really means in a tangible way. So I think that's really cool. So, well, as we wrap up here, first of all, thank you so much for coming on with us today. Officer Chris Bianez here with us. And we'd love to have you back on the show at some point, or whenever you guys are doing something that's, feel like you want to share with the community, or a new program, or one of these schools, or one of these 12-week programs are coming up. I'd love to be able to share that with our listeners and just try to drive some awareness, but also some attendance to those things and help get people as equipped and prepared as possible. So
and just one other one. Don't let me forget. Sometime we maybe come on and talk about the RAD program. We have one called Rape Aggression Defense for the Women, and this would be a great program. I want to see if I can give you a hand. Do you hear the applause?
I've never got an applause from the guests before.
Nathan, that's for you, brother, for all that you do for our community. Thank you so much for having me on today, and thanks for what you do.
Well, it is my pleasure, guys. That's Officer Chris Bianez. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye. All righty, guys. Well, special thanks to our guest today, Officer Chris Bianez, Katie Owen, the Insurance Gal, as well as Sherri McFadden with Live, Love, Travel. It has been a great show. We will be back at this time, 2 o'clock next Tuesday, bringing you everything that we believe is pertinent to the community of Plano, from businesses to nonprofits to churches to what's going on with our community leaders, with our school districts, just anything that we feel is a great thing to highlight and to put to draw to you, bring your attention to others. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you to Katie, who's one of our station sponsors as well. If you want information about sponsoring the show, you can reach out to Lyndon W at thedifferenceradio.com, or you can obviously our contact information will be scrolling across the screen different parts throughout the day. So God bless you guys. We'll see you next week. This has been the Plano Community Difference. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for tuning into The Community Difference. If you enjoyed the show, take something you learned and apply it in your community or your business in order to make the difference for someone else. Remember, the smallest change begins with a single action, but a single action can make all the difference. A special thank you to today's amazing guests. Also, if you'd like to be on the show to share your unique story and how it made the difference in your community, please contact Lendon Wilson at lendonw@thedifferenceradio.com. Until next time, this has been The Community Difference in Plano, Texas, hosted by Nathan Smith.